Tell me when I'm telling lies. Hey everyone, been about a week or so. CM Punk's back. I'm sure no one was gonna be offended by that ending.
I should be like you, man.
Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe took on CMFTR. I'm surprised they have not come up with an official name for because they have not come up with. They have not made I'm like they're making merch of it now, but like why not just go all in and just call them out on the graphics and promotion because it makes sense. Like RKO, FTR, FTRKO. Those were the days when Randy Orton was trying his damn best to get them at the top of the food chain. So CM Punk came back after 10 months of a torn tricep and all the bad, bitter feelings that occurred, and Kenny being bitten in the arm, like steel chair clocking to kill Matt Jackson. And CM Punk heading into Collision went on an interview that was described as inflammatory, though in reality people were like, about it because everyone's just kind of sick at this point of the whole dynamic going on with AEW and Punk. Like, will they, won't they, can they work together, will they work together, will they ever shut the F up? I understand, I totally get it. I'm sick of it too. Like, I'm just like, look, if they're gonna work, like, they don't need to be friends, they don't need to be going to, well, I was gonna say the bar and drink out because CM Punk is straight edge. So some people have argued that maybe Punk should lighten up a little bit and go a little marijuana or something. I don't know why people think that, but yeah, Punk's combative mentality and the elite. I'm just that guy that's sitting in the background that's like, okay, you don't need to be friends, you don't need to hang out, you don't need to go to a club and party, you don't need to go head to each other's homes and hang out, you don't even need to be working on being the elite together. We just want you guys to just shut up, shake hands, apologize to each other, and then and if you want to work together, fine. If you just want to do one match and then never speak to each other again, that's fine. Heck, CM Punk even admitted in the CNN interview that yes, he definitely tried to contact them, but there's legal stuff that stops them from doing that. So clearly there is something going on that they want to finish this whole thing out. And I'm pretty sure the lawyer stuff just makes it more complicated. Probably in the hindsight you should have thought this through, but that's a different matter. There was high emotions. And CM Punk came back on the opening of Second Coming. They promoted his return. They knew they couldn't do what they did last time. Like, the magic for that was gone. They knew Chicago was sold out at the United Center nonetheless. So they didn't have to do teases or make obvious references to the point that that's all they advertised, and if they didn't have him at the show, they couldn't be mad because they just made the assumption. And I'm pretty sure that was AEW's plausible deniability there, right? If Punk didn't come back. But yeah, they got that all worked out. Rampage will forever be known as the show that brought CM Punk back for the second episode. Then they did some good shows, some good matches, pretty damn good matches, but didn't really make the mark it was supposed to make for people. So CM Punk cut this promo where he takes off the microphone the microphone piece here that shows the AEW logo, and he's all in his buzz cut hair, and I was like, oh god, this is 2013 Punk, the one who looked absolutely pissed off being there. Which was probably accurate at the time, but let's hope this is not as pissed off as he was before. And he cuts this massive promo talking about his younger years, about if he was ever gonna know he's gonna be part of Madison Square Garden, set up multiple times over every single building in Chicago or a roof. And Punk even said that if he was a younger man and he was told this by the future, he wouldn't believe him, like, at all. But yeah. So Punk decides to claim he's tired of being nice, and then of course when Punk said that, I was like, watch, we're gonna get people that are gonna complain saying, stop being, why are you being a jerk? And I will just respond, weren't you all asking for this one to come back? the jerk Punk that hated everything and probably hated life at a time, and even went as far as to punch a fan in the face. I'm like, granted, it was an accident, but it was still a thing. Because he was just that mad all the time, it seemed. Here's the thing about the promo. So Punk was given a pretty positive reception in Chicago. I'm like, it's Chicago, it's his home turf, so of course he's gonna get love there. But heading into the show beforehand, they were clearly showing he was getting mixed to negative reception from the fan bases outside of Chicago. So that leads me to believe, oh, CM Punk's gonna do the Bret Hart dynamic, where he's a face in Chicago, but a bastard heel to everyone else in the entire world. Sort of like I said, like Bret Hart when if he was in America, he'd be the biggest jackass to everyone on the crowd and at TV and American homes. But when he was in Canada, he was seen as the second coming of God himself. To the Canadians, he was their icon. He was their hero. God damn it! And Punk goes ahead and does this big promo saying, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." And it's like, and he talks about how he's never been unapologetic, how he's never compromised, how he's just being himself and whatnot. And he talks about the painful truths and whatnot, and he says he has a lot to get off his chest. And we all know what happens when that's said, because then it leads to a pop culture phenomenon going on, and then WWE will screw it up somehow, even though I will never understand how they screw that up. Goddamn. And of course, apparently David Zaslav is a fan. I'm like, if the wrestling fans knew what David Zaslav had done to the nerdy crowd of pop culture, and he's done in cartoon fans and animation fans, they would be saying, "Fuck David Zaslav! Fuck David Zaslav! Pay your writers! Pay your writers!" I'm like, Punk's not gonna go out on TV and bash David Zaslav. So you could just unplug the show from the contract if you wanted to. David Zaslav's a jerk. And and I had to answer one of my buddies on Twitter about who was David Zaslav, and I just called him and I just said, "Oh, he's the current president of WBD and also a war criminal for animation abomination ideas, like canceling animated projects or scrapping them completely, or canceling films or TV shows when they're already completed and ready to be sent out to the world, only for them to say, nope, we're doing a tax write-off even though the whole thing is done, but we're going to screw you all over. We're not even going to shop it around to someone else even though it's the last season." Ain't that right? Let's see, what shows, Westworld, I believe that was one. The Train show that was a series adaptation of that movie. I can't remember its name, but it was in its final season as well. When they had it all fully completed and ready to go, then David Zaslav pulled the plug because of course he did. I think it was Snowpiercer or Snowbreaker. I'm pretty sure it was Snowpiercer. He also scrapped a whole bunch of animation projects. Batgirl was the most famous movie that was scrapped and put in a vault, and the creators weren't even allowed to keep the film for themselves because fuck that. And a whole bunch of other things. Yes, I know I'm talking about David Zaslav, but let's be real. Yeah. But anyways, David Zaslav calls apparently CM Punk One Bill Phil. Probably a reference to the fact that there was that big rumor going around that CM Punk's mere existence somehow getting AEW $1 billion just from this show alone. Yes, this show, Collision, apparently may have given them $1 billion, though that might have been disputed by Tony Khan and everything. And then he says this: "That's because I'm the one true genuine article in a business full of counterfeit bucks." And I was like, damn, he went there. He claims he's the king is back, and he has a lot to say. And of course the crowd goes ahead and says, crowd is chanting because they know what they're saying, what they're thinking. Fuck the elite, fuck the elite, fuck the elite, fuck the elite, F the elite, F the elite. and whatnot, but Punk clearly is so tempted to say something, but because the legal system is so confusing, he cannot. But he goes ahead and talks about how he is basically the best, and how you're free to cheer him, you're free to boo him, you're free to hate his guts, you're here to have a sign saying CM junk, like you can do whatever you want, that's your truth, go for it. Then he has this red bag throughout the entire segment, and it's clearly obvious what he has in his bag. The title he never truly lost. He was stripped of it, he never lost it. And I was like, well, I think we know what the main event of All In's gonna be. It's not CMFTR versus the Elite. I think we're gonna wait that out until they get all the legal stuff handled. Heck, Punk even says he wants to sit down with them and talk about all the BS that went down. That's how things worked out with him and Hangman. But when Punk goes ahead and is basically pulling a loophole tactic, where, I can't know about, you said I can't know about King Omega and the Young Bucks. Young Bucks in that agreement we did. No one said I could say anything about Hangman. And I was like, oh god damn it. I'm surprised he did not mention Hangman at all in this. But, before I went into a huge, and people were wondering what the hell was going on, saying about that counterfeit Bucks line, and I actually had to look into it. I was like, they had to. They knew what they were doing. They approved that. The Elite approved it. The management approved it. It'd be dumb if they didn't. Like, it's one thing to say it was scripted. It's not. Punk's allowed to say they don't really believe in scripted promos. Take notes. But you see, everyone was curious how the Young Bucks would inadvertently respond to this. Well, they responded on Twitter, saying in their bio, if it were 2018, we'd already have a counterfeit Bucks shirt available on PWT. Crying face laughing emoji. Kill it, y'all. And then when I heard that, I just did this. I did my obligatory Twitter post saying, time to needlessly speculate and post the Hawkeye gif of "Don't Give Me Hope," because that's the route we're going with on that. Don't do that. Do what? Don't give me hope. So, yeah, they're clearly suggesting that there is something going to happen down the road. Let's just hope things worked out if the lawyers allowed it. But let's just hope that when they do the sit down, inevitably, they say, go out there, let's just make some fucking money. By the way, I gotta mention, Monet was supposed to be at Forbidden Door, but she got hurt. You may cry now that we were robbed of Sasha Banks and Mercedes Monet in AEW, at least for now. But we still have All In. And we're willing to do it, damn it. We're willing to pay whatever we got to do it. So, after all that, the show goes on, proceeds with shows and content and insanity. And we get the main event. Samoa Joe, Jay White Bull, and Juice Robinson versus CM Punk and FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. I just keep thinking of their old names. But they're signed to AEW. Bravo, the current tag team champions. In a trios match, because Tony Khan needs to have his callbacks to the first episode of Dynamite with the Elite versus basically what will become the Jericho, the Inner Circle. And probably the best night for Jake Hager, considering that was possibly the biggest moment he'll ever have in his career with the pop he had. Which says a lot about the times. And I was there for the whole shebang. So anyways, CM Punk and CMFTR took on Samoa Joe, JY, and Juice Robinson of World Cup Gold. And someone had to do the math over CM Punk and Samoa Joe, because this would be the first time they've crossed over and fought each other in nearly 20 freaking years. Please note, the last time they went shoulder to shoulder, fist to fist, fisticuffs, was about 2004 or 5. And CM Punk has never pinned Samoa Joe. Over 6,000 days, and this would be the first time in that 6,000 days that Samoa Joe and CM Punk would share a ring together for the first time in nearly 20 years. I'm so old. I'm so old. So yeah, and despite the appeal of Samoa Joe and CM Punk going out, which was clearly the main caveat of all this, I really wanted Jay Whitehall and CM Punk to go at it because I was like, damn, one of the best sellers of a wrestling moves, Jay Whitehall taking on CM Punk, the best type of physical actor you can get for wrestling and sell a move to the extreme, says a lot. And people have been wondering why Jay Whitehall doesn't feel like Jay Whitehall. I'm like, to me he does, but that's a different matter. The reason why Jay White has been some would say he's very laxed about how he's been handled in AEW. Accordingly, he's pretty much was like, I'm in AEW now. I no longer have to go hard as possible in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, I'm kind of cool with my current creative booking. Yeah, that's basically how Jay White is handling his AEW run currently. He's just more like, I'm here, I pretty much did everything possible in New Japan and worked like to the fucking extreme. I'm just gonna make my first stint with AEW look more like a vacation than anything else. He's pretty really relaxed, chilled back on the whole creative process for him. So long as they get his character right and whatnot, how he is, he still has his New Japan vibes, but he clearly is very relaxed and laid back over this run currently. I hope he kicks into high gear soon, in give it a year or so probably, when he kicks it into real high gear, especially when he starts to work more with the top guys, and hopefully Kenny Omega again, because we were only given one goddamn match in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I want more.
I should be like you, Mel.
The man who broke the Bullet Club, that laid the foundation of all elite wrestling. If it wasn't for me, you would all still be wearing the black and white. Let's be real, he's probably gonna do that when they feud inevitably. So that had all happened, and we get the match. This match did everything it needed to do. It brought back, it showed, it was to protect CM Punk because he's been gone for 10 months and, torn tricep and all that, torn off the bone. So naturally they were like, okay, we don't know how good you are in the ring yet with all the training and whatnot and recovery period, so we're gonna take this a little easier. We're gonna tag you with your buddies, FTR. We've been basically defending you every single chance they get. And you're gonna fight these three guys, and you're gonna have a one with Samoa Joe. It's a damn good six-man tag team match, a damn good trios match. And honestly, I would have been cool if they had put the titles on the line. Samoa Joe puts on the TV title, and the FTR takes on the tag team titles, and then they could switch them if they wanted to. I'm like, I know they weren't going to do that, and I know Samoa Joe wasn't going to be the fall guy. Heck, I knew Jay White was going to be the fall guy. I knew it was going to be just opposite for the bare fact that, well, here's the question. Do you really think they're going to drop the catalyst of pro wrestling or the face of TV, the TV champ, to CM Punk at this current state until they do a big long-term program? Come on, Juice was the fall guy. I saw that coming a mile away. But when Samoa Joe and CM Punk went at it, the crowd goes ballistic. And here's the thing. I don't know how they do this. They had me on the edge of my seat, even though I knew CM Punk and FTR were going to win. I knew it was going to be the end result, but they are damn good at making me think it could go the other way. When Samoa Joe had CM Punk in the Coquilla Clutch and all that, and FTR was coming in to save the day, it's like, okay, they're going to break out the submission, they're good, but then Jay White and Juice Robinson caught them and held them back as Samoa Joe was choking the life out of Punk, and I was like, could they actually do it? Could they actually have Punk lose in his return match? But of course, Dax Harwood and whatnot, Cash Wheeler and all that broke out of their restraints and got Samoa Joe to release his hold over CM Punk. But that was a damn good tense teasing moment. Like, I was like, damn. Oh man, it was so awesome. And just when it looked like Jay White was gonna do the Blade Runner on CM Punk gets out of that. Juice Robinson is obviously the fall guy, and he gets the go to the GTS. And we end the show, and we were initially thinking it's gonna end with, you know, chaos unfolding, Kenta and all that stuff. Yeah, that didn't happen. It just ended. Yeah, didn't go the way to Dynamite. I was a little surprised by that, because I was like you're gonna do something to hook in the watchers for next week. They don't do that, and people were kind of thinking that, yeah, clearly Kenta is gonna get involved in this, right? And they keep mentioning how it's not a done deal, and there's been reports how it's not a done deal, and how everything is now set in stone for Punk and Kenta, even though that's the dream match everyone wants to see, GTS versus GTS. Like, let's be real, everyone's been wanting to see that match just for that tagline alone. And if they don't do it, I'll be pissed. And I don't know who I should blame for that, because let me be clear. Whenever you have a obviously good tagline you can go with to sell a match, let alone sell an entire show, you kind of should do it. And if COVID never happened in the world, and if WWE weren't high on their own drug-addled madness, and Goldberg wasn't a self-centered charity-using car player, we could have gotten Revenge versus 17. I am still on that. It's been years now. I am still on that if they did that, they would have sold out the entire arena. They would have sold the arena out, the stadium out, just for that one match. Just announce that match, make that the tagline, and boom, you got it. You got the match. You got your match, you got your main event, you got everything. Just sell that and you win. But no, Goldberg wanted to be selfish and charity picker, and COVID had to happen because everyone was an idiot that day in the world. But before I end this, I do want to bring up what happened after the show. You see, CM Punk brought a fan in, and oh man, he and FTR decided to celebrate. CM Punk still doesn't have his replica belt to go ahead and sell the I'm the real world champion, because he wants to be like Shawn Michaels now, because they've been following Bret Hart's mannerisms for the whole year or so, and now they want to be doing the HBK stuff. That's clear where they're going with MJF and CM Punk. And they had a fan come in with the sign, support LGBTQ plus youth. And of course, I said on Twitter this: the Elite and Punk may not agree on a lot of things, but they definitely agree on this. And it's the AEW press photo of Kenny Omega pointing to a sign saying, support trans kids. Trans rights are human rights. Goddamn right. But, something happened when that stuff happened. So because the people on the Twitter forums need to be a bigoted idiot and claim they're WWE super fans, someone said this is why I don't want AEW. Why are they shoving this down our throats on live TV? Even if you agree with them, just wrestle, entertain us. Who cares about your political views? This is wrestling, not CNN. I mean, you would have somewhat of a point if this was actually on TV, but it wasn't. and I don't give two shits. If they want to if they have a company backing them and standing by their beliefs of support the LGBTQ youth and Pride Month, do it. Fuck the bigots. Oh, and this account user on their description says they are a WWE super fan, and my response to that was Finn Balor's WrestleMania entrance was Pride themed. Oh, and did he also go ahead and wear a Pride shirt of his merge in Saudi Arabia, which would have guaranteed a death sentence if they thought about that for a quick second and lead to another crisis that we really were not interested in? But Dirty Dutch Mantel, well, at least he's accurate with his personality, saying this: is this a wise move involving a political issue on a wrestling show? I guess the issue that Bud Light and Target have had with the LGBTQ topic has not reached AEW. This shot didn't make the show, but still a photo is there. Comments. Here's my opinion on this. How is it a political issue? This isn't like something that can be willed into existence. It already exists. I know Dutch Mantel is an idiot and from the olden days, the old world, but he seems to forget this isn't the old world. Also, I would like to mention that you freaked out over Tony Khan hugging Cesaro. Yes, it was geeky, but at least he cared. And after all the pressure he was going through with the whole debacle of the injury bug last year, he needed a moment. Sheesh. But yeah, I kept pointing out, remember Finn Balor's WrestleMania entrance in 2018? It was a heartwarming moment, or Balor's wearing a Pride shirt in Saudi Arabia. That took guts. So I'm pretty sure someone out there, some GOP fanatic is pissed, and if this pisses off Ron DeSantis since AEW is based in Florida, so be it. I'm pretty sure that can make Punk and the Elite work together. Hey, I don't like you. I don't like you either. But you support the rights of the trans youth and the LGBTQ community. So do I. So do you guys. We're cool. Yeah, we're cool. So do you want to kick Ron DeSantis' ass? Yeah, let's do that. And yes, I am going to bring up Ron DeSantis getting his ass kicked one day because he deserves it. But that's just my opinion on that subject. It's less of a political opinion, more like a moral argument that yes, we should probably kick his ass. Oh man, I just had to do that. So yeah, CM Punk is back, ladies and gentlemen. I do not know what happens next. It's gonna be a wild ride. And there's reports going on that he is gonna show up on AEW Dynamite, since Dynamite this coming week will be in Chicago. Therefore, there's a chance that we will not show up according to reports. So take that for what you will. I'm pretty sure. Look, based on that promo from last week and the fact that CM Punk is willing to sit down and talk to them, and the only thing that's stopping that is lawyers currently, and not Matt and Nick Jackson being petty. Yeah, something tells me they're just trying to separate them just so the lawyers don't come knocking on their doors and saying, hey, I heard that CM Punk, I heard that the Elite were backstage with you. Yeah, you can't do that. There's a restraining order because we lawyers drafted it up. Yeah, I know you want to work things out, but we're kind of following the legal system, even though it's very convoluted and complicated and always possible. So maybe you should have thought that through in the long run. But you gotta follow the law. Peace. Or pay a hefty fine, or get sued. But yeah, Punk's back. If he shows up on Dynamite, that's gonna still be awesome, since they need to get all the pops they need for him for now until they go out of Chicago. Damn, he's living in Canada, and I don't think the Bret Hart homages will be enough to sway fans over. But he has the world title clearly in his bag, and he's gonna claim he's the real world champion since he, never lost it, and he has his argument. Let's hope I don't think they're gonna bring back the entrance system thing for a while, because let's be real, last year drank everybody a bit. 2022 was a rough year for AEW. But we'll see. They'll probably say that he has a legitimate claim to the world title, but MJF is also the world champion, and we're not going to do the interim stuff. You're both the world champion. You'll fight for the unification of it, and then we'll just end the debate completely and move on with our lives. P.S. MJF is going to win. Oh, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing what more content's there come this way for AEW Collision. It was a good premiere. It was a pretty damn good premiere for what it had. It probably should have had something to hook viewers in for the next week episode, or episode 2, but that's just me. That was just my opinion. The fact that they ended on a pretty happy note was kind of a miracle in itself. We haven't seen that. They usually have a cliffhanger ending and whatnot. Like, even they don't even do a stare down with somebody. Like, just, here's the ending. Just them celebrating, which is like a breath of fresh air when you think about it. With all the dramatic angles coming out at the end. Like Eddie Kingston coming back and beating the living hell out of everybody until he fights John Moxley. Don't worry, I'll get to talking about the Dynamite of that episode. I just need to cover this. So this was your host, Eric Brown of NRE WrestleVerse, NRE The WrestleVerse, host of Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk, and the owner of the NRE brand and Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out our content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all again next time. Peace and take care, and keep